Hi there. Just to get things out of the way, because people are going to be wanting to know, no, I do not think this game is good, but I did have quite a lot of fun playing it. Now, the issues where the game gets bad is mainly the art style, because there's nothing memorable about it, there's nothing interesting about the art style or the presentation regarding the game, and the gameplay itself, it's a bit flawed. They they designed it in a way that encourages looting and encourages chest searching, but you don't really need to do that to actually gain pressure on enemies and try and win matches. You don't need to like loot as much as the game wants you to. You can just disregard a lot of loot. You can disregard a lot of the items as well. A lot of the defense items and the offense items, a lot of them can just be side stepped with other easier to use and less intrusive alternatives, such as the rocket launcher, the hammer, and the zipline. They can all get you into positions where the enemies haven't, reinforced areas. So they can't like. I can't give a visual representation of how big these bases are because they are pretty big, but they're too big for 3 players to properly reinforce everywhere. So there's always one area you can go to that is not completely held down and reinforced by all 3 players. And I'd like to talk about the map now because I just talked about the bases. The map is not actually that big. People were saying that it's like super big and it should be like 5v5 or 6v6. I think it's fine as 3v3. It's just a bit overblown. There's not much in the map. There's a lot of bad maps that make it seem like the map is really big, but it's basically just a sightline simulator, right? You just point and click adventure game at that point because of how big the sightlines are. So yeah, big map, not really. Empty, yes. Fun to play on, kinda, depends on the map. Some of them are fun, some of them are pretty bad. I can't remember the names of them because they've got such terrible names that I can't remember them. Cause there's nothing memorable about this game. There's not a single memorable thing besides maybe the weird voice work the actors do. I mean, all the actors are professionals. I'm not trying to discredit the actors that are involved. There are some very talented, very popular, well-known actors in this game, but the presentation of the game kind of ruins their abilities. It kind of ruins their acting talent because a lot of the voice lines in this game are abysmal to listen to. They've got no personality, no. I mean, some of them. I'm not. This isn't just a general thing, but like some of the characters, some of the voice lines have no personality. They've got no impact on anything, and they're just background noise. Where should I go? Oh yeah, since I'm talking about the characters, let me continue talking about the characters. A lot of them are pretty bad. Gameplay wise, currently I main Mara, which is the person you're seeing in the gameplay footage. She complements my playstyle really well, which is just run the enemy down, kill them. It's a pretty simple playstyle, but I don't think that's how you're intended to play the game. But I from playing it and from like thinking about it for like a while, I mean this isn't my first time playing the game. This footage here, this is not the first time playing it. This is after a full-on stream and a day thinking about the game. I really do feel like you're not meant to be super aggressive in this game, but you gain so much pressure, both map pressure and actual pressure from being super aggressive versus being super defensive, that it makes me wonder why people would actually need to play these defensive characters, because there are a few defensive characters in the game, but they're really outclassed by just aggression. So yeah, they definitely need to fix that. They need to rework a lot of the characters. Mara kind of reminds me of how people would play Lifeline in Apex Legends. You could be really aggressive with Lifeline because of her, shield. You could be really aggressive, but you could also be really defensive. and it made her, you know, one of the best characters in the game, second to Wraith, obviously, because she is the best character in that game at the time. And it's so powerful just getting the best guns in the game, which for me personally is the Corsair and the sniper rifle, which you can see me using. I really like these two weapons. Also the big rig as well, but I'll talk about that later. It, it it just seems like the game that they were trying to make contrasts with the gameplay style that they implemented, because the gameplay style and the gameplay mechanics, it's basically just one-to-one with Apex. Right? The only thing that's different about it is weapon attachments. You can't take them off, and you get weapon attachments from higher rarity weapons. That's about it. Oh, and grenades, recharge, you've got the mounts, and people are a lot tankier in this game because, you know, it's 3v3, and if people were dying every 5 seconds, it wouldn't play well. So people are a lot tankier, and weapons do a lot less damage. So an AR in this game does like 18 damage compared to what Apex would do, which is a lot more. It's a lot more damage, a lot more DPS versus this. So like you have to fully like pump out a lot of ammo and a lot of pressure to kill one person in this game, and vice versa. You can take a lot of punishment in this game, which I kind of like, but it feeds into that. This is basically just like an Apex clone, right? Because of how they took all the gameplay styles and mechanics from Apex, such as, you know, wall climbing, the hero shooter type style, the movement. The movement is one-to-one with Apex. Besides, sliding gives you movement speed when you use a slide for the first time. So you're a lot faster if you slide versus Apex, where you mainly get your speed from sliding downhill. You don't really get speed when sliding downhill. You get your speed when you just activate the slide. So yeah, it's a fun game. Is it a unique game? No. And I'll talk about the weapons now. There aren't a lot of weapons in the game, but to be fair, the game did just come out. With Apex, they had the backlog of Titanfall weapons to implement over the years, and you know, they had the starting point of having all these Titanfall weapons to begin with. This game doesn't have that because they had to create completely new weapons, and the weapons feel unique. I guess they certainly look unique. They don't look like they're from Titanfall. Take that how you, as you will. You can say that's a compliment or an insult. But with that lower damage thing that I mentioned, a lot of the weapons feel very poor to play with and use because you're not doing a lot of damage, like generally. So that's why I like using the Corsair, because it pumps out a lot of damage quickly. But you have to reload a lot, and the reload's pretty long. It's an SMG pistol type. Kind of reminds me of the R99. You know, from Apex, like early days R99. I don't mean newer R99. No. It really does feel like the old R99. What else? The Corsair, not the Corsair, the sniper rifle. I can't remember the name of the sniper rifle. The sniper rifle sucks, but that's because they wanted people to be tanky. The sniper rifle can down in 2 shots. It cannot one-shot headshot. The most it can do is down in 2 shots. That's with 1 headshot, 1 body shot. If you get all body shots, it's 3 shots. I think up until like purple armor, which is 200 health. The armor system is one-to-one with Apex. Your helmets decrease damage from headshots, your armors increase health, and you can get up to 225 health. And there is a bit of uniqueness with the armor system where if you die with your armor, the armor permanently breaks. So you have to either get another armor set, or you have to buy armor, or you have to hope that you have collected armor previously, because you can keep collecting armor sets to stock up. So if your armor breaks, you can then get another one, if that makes sense. Where should I go now? Yeah, I'm still talking about the weapons, aren't I? There is a care package system in the game which has a weapon called the Big Rig, and this is like proper Apex style weapon. So it's an LMG, 60 in the mag, 60 in the clip. Oh, 60 in stock, I should say. 60 in stock, 60 in the clip. It does 30 damage per shot, 60 for a headshot. It fires slower than what the that big one. What was that big LMG? The one that's now a light ammo that used to be heavy ammo. Whichever that one is, it fires slower than that, but its damage output is so consistent because it's 30 flat. It's 30 flat damage, 60 flat damage. It's very good, and it just shreds through players. And if you're not using something like the Corsair or the sniper rifle, and maybe the revolver, because there's a revolver that's similar to the old Wingman, you know, pre-nerf, pre-rework Wingman. If you're not using one of those weapons, you cannot win a 1v1 with someone with the Big Rig. It does too much damage, outputs too much damage. You cannot output enough damage to kill them without dying first. So if someone's got the Big Rig, I mean, there's only one care package weapon per round, and they start spawning on round 2. So if you've gotten that, you have to. The enemy has to put 2 players to focus you down, or have one really good player not miss a single shot on you, either with the Corsair or the sniper rifle or the revolver, and just try and shred you before they themselves get shredded. So yeah, I don't know how I feel about that, but I mean, besides the weapons being bad and a lot of the characters being bad and redundant, like me personally, I'm only taking a liking to 2 characters thus far, which is Mara and Redmayne. But Redmayne kind of sucks. He's like a worse version of Revenant, because his ultimate does basically nothing. A lot of the characters have ultimates that are designed to be destructive, but you don't need to be destructive, as I said earlier. You don't need to destroy walls, you don't need to destroy doors, because most of the time, the doors aren't going to be, like all the doors or all the walls aren't going to be reinforced. So there's at least one wall or one door that you can just break down with your axe or, your pocket rocket launcher. It's really not something you have to focus on too much, so like 60% of the characters are kind of useless. There's not a lot of characters in the game at the moment. Obviously, they're going to keep adding more and more. It's just what they're going to do with Apex. It's what they've done with Apex, and they're just copying Apex. Yeah, they have to copy Apex. But as it is right now, the game right now, it is fun. Yes. Is it a good game? No, not one bit. The gameplay is so incredibly flawed, and I did say that earlier. I am repeating myself, I know, but I don't understand what they were going for on the defense side. Because of how the game works, you get more resources if you kill people, and the people that you kill get their armor broken. Now, they can buy more armor if they've got the resources, but if they do not have the resources, then they have staggered. So it creates this kind of like snowball effect. Amara is really good at indulging in this snowball effect, because when she gets a kill, she can absorb that kill and recharge her tactical by 1 charge, which gives her or her teammates additional health, as you just saw in that clip there. You can see at my health bar, it's got that little like pink thing. That's additional health. So if she's going on a full rampage, she's killing people, getting 50 health from the absorbed kill, because it's similar to Apex where if you absorb a kill you get 50 health on any character, you don't have to be Mara, so you get 50 health back, so you can just go on this like rampage cycle, which is so superior to playing defensively or playing aggressively with these more aggressive type characters, that the support character is significantly more aggressive than the characters with these aggressive abilities. So I think they need to sort of retool how the game works, how you're meant to actually play this game, because it just seems too flawed at the moment to be something that is actually a competent game. But I think there's a lot of skill involved, a lot of skill expression with how you can use these actually usable characters. Because there's I can't remember her name, but she like throws out these little like forest spirits. They don't do anything, they just hold in a position and they wait for an enemy to get close to them, and I think they explode. I'm not too certain because I've never seen someone walk into them. I think I saw one explode once, and I think that's because it got shot at. So she like placed down these like forest spirits, and they're like half your height, so they're not hidden. It's not like a Junkrat mine, right? It's not like a Demo Man Sticky Palm. These are big sprites that you cannot hide, and enemies are just meant to walk into them, but they're not going to do that. And her ultimate's completely useless because they need to fix the AI on her ultimate, because it bugs out a lot. It doesn't actually target people, and when it tries to target someone, it kind of like jitters, so it has to kind of like look around. But if it's getting shot by multiple people, it will constantly keep like switching between who's shooting it. So if you want to deal with her ultimate, just take pop shots every now and again. Just go like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and it can't do anything. The ice guy, the guy that I'm looking at right now on the right, his ultimate is a big guy, but he moves so slowly compared to everyone else, and he can't attack ranged. I mean, he kind of can, but the attack does 50 damage per hit, which can down a person in 4 hits, but they can just out damage him completely. If you've got any gun, you can just out damage him. Like, you don't have to use like the Corsair or the sniper rifle or the shotguns or the big rig. You can just out damage him with any gun, because his DPS is so slow compared to yours. I don't really get the point, but it gives him like a lot of health, and he also has the shield, and he can destroy walls, blah blah blah, but who cares, right? Who cares about that when you're taking more damage than you're actually dealing? It just doesn't, it's not equivalent exchange. What else can I talk about? The maps, I saw people talking about how confusing the maps were. I said that briefly, but there's no possible way that, even without looking at your map, there's no possible way that someone can get lost, because they're so narrow, and they force you into a specific direction. They force you to head towards the mid section. The mid sections force you towards the enemy base. So there's no way you can get lost on these maps. And like, even though they're empty and there's like barely anything in them, and there's barely any interesting places to fight, any set pieces, they're just so open, and you can see everything. You can see across the entire map in some places. It's pretty abysmal, the sightlines that exist in this game. But besides that, the maps, they're really strange. I really don't get what they were going for. Maybe they were going for like this kind of like, you can have these mini, it's so big, you can have these like mini skirmishes because people are so tanky and you've got so much resource to work with. Players can have mini skirmishes, kind of like in like Deadlock. So you can have like a skirmish here and skirmish here, and this guy's looting, and then maybe the guy that's looting can come over and help on this skirmish at the left, and the guy that was previously there fighting, he can go off and start looting, and, you know, get some health. But you don't. That doesn't happen, because if you are hyper aggressive like how I am, you can end games in like 7 minutes. And that's not how you're supposed to play them. You're not supposed to end games in 7 minutes. You know, if I didn't mess up in this clip here, if I didn't overextend and be hyper aggressive, and if I held my position there, the game probably would have been over. Because look at I just killed 2 people already. The people that defused, I've just killed them. And even this guy here, who's got extra health, he dies. So it's just be aggressive. Always just go for the aggressive. I don't know what to say now. I've lost my train of thought because I'm just watching the gameplay now. These guys are really bad. Teammates are really bad. They don't know what they're doing. It really seems like a lot of them somehow either skipped the tutorial or they didn't pick up any information they got from the tutorial. Because a lot of players, some of them don't know how to revive and some of them don't know how the soul orb functions. So when you die, you leave a soul orb behind, and an enemy can either destroy it, stopping you from being revived, similar to what I'm doing right here. So that stops people from being revived. Or they can revive you. Your friends can revive you using these soul orbs, which you'll see in just a second when I kill this guy, and then I'll grab my teammate's orb and I'll revive them. Yeah, you can walk over to them, you can grab them, and then you can bring them back to life. And obviously the enemies can do that to their friends as well. But a lot of players don't do that. A lot of players have no idea what they're doing. I don't know how it's happened, but yeah, needs more skill. So things that I can think of. Retool the game, retool the mechanics, retool a lot of the characters, retool a lot of the weapons, and I think it can be a fun and enjoyable game that people actually want to stick around and play. Bye! I was watching the video be processed and edited, and I completely forgot about a bunch of stuff I wanted to talk about. So, mind you, I'm on a PS5, right? So keep that in mind. I'm on a PS5 console. In settings, this is gameplay, right? So this is gameplay. This is what you can alter in settings for gameplay. You can alter language, you can turn auto run on and off, you can show subtitles, and you can change the font size. And here's your small selection of subtitles, I guess. In video, yep. In video, you can only adjust brightness. You cannot adjust FOV, you cannot adjust shadows, you cannot adjust level of detail, you cannot even turn motion blur off. Yes, this game has motion blur, and you might have seen it in the footage that I showed. Maybe you didn't, but there is motion blur in this game, and it's pretty abysmal, and I cannot turn it off, and I'm on a PS5, right? So that is a PS5 controller. I'm on a PS5 console, and you cannot turn motion blur off. That is abysmal. That is very abysmal. I don't know how I forgot about that. I have drank a bit today, so that's probably why I forgot. Let's keep going. Audio, yeah, pretty basic. I'm glad it starts off with 70% overall instead of everything being at 100, so you're not constantly like blasted. But that's about it. You can turn voice chat off, which I have done. Okay, who cares, right? Controller, this is all your controller settings. You can change sensitivity. You can change turn rate. You can change. I don't care. Online settings really doesn't matter. So yeah, the pretty bare bones in the settings. I don't know why they're so basic and why you cannot actually really change the game all that much. They should probably immediately get to work on adjusting these settings. I can't. This isn't a slider. So this is not a slider, this is not something I can slide, I have to manually tap it. It really doesn't seem like this game was made for console, because of how incomplete the settings and accessibility options are. But anyway, besides that, right, here's the more important thing, the monetization. So the monetization is not similar to Apex in any way. For once, an EA game does not monetize with loot boxes. This is just like the Fortnite shop in Fortnite, where you've got these big bundles and you've got skins that match the bundles. A lot of them are pretty ugly. A lot of them are really ugly. This isn't one of the ugly ones. This is kind of fine, I guess. Although I don't know how this gun would work, considering the bullet would have to be super duper thin, so maybe this is one of the bad ones. The second barrel doesn't do anything, there's not a hole here. Yeah, okay, maybe this is one of the bad ones. I'm not using a good example of good skins, but I guess there aren't any. Ha! Premium currency is gold. You can only buy it in intervals of this. So if you want to buy one of these bigger bundles, 1,800, you have to spend even more to get 2,200. Very very scummy, but you know it's EA. We're used to that, right? Yeah. There are different rarities. So you've got yellow rarity, which is yellow rarity. You've got purple rarity, which is just recolors, and then you've got exotic rarities, which is also recolors, right? So there's exotic rarity that has recolors, but then you've also got unique skins and stuff for the exotic rarity, even though there's recolors. So exotic is your arbitrary, oh look, this is special for no reason rarity. You know, sort of like what you'd see in Dead by Daylight. Oh, speaking of Dead by Daylight, I didn't really talk about it much in the difference between maps, but some of them are more fun to play on than others, and that is an issue that Dead by Daylight also has, where the gameplay is maintained the same way, depending on what map you're playing on. You know, it's always going to be the same gameplay, but some maps are more fun to play on than others. And that's not an issue Dead by Daylight has managed to solve just yet. And this is an issue that this game also has. I can't remember the maps. You can't. I don't think there's a setting to actually view maps, and I don't think there's also a training arena. I'm fairly certain. Oh no, okay, there is a firing range, but this is not a map firing range. It's like the Apex firing range, and training grounds is just a tutorial. So there's no way to actually view what maps are in the game, but a lot of them are pretty bad, and they're pretty unfun to play on. But some of them are fine. Some of them are unintrusive. Not all of them are. A lot of them are intrusive. So they need to very much prioritize making sure all maps are balanced, fun to play on, and there aren't very clear, obvious options that are better than other maps. And if there are, they should not try and nerf those maps. They should try and buff the ones that are unfun to play on. They should focus more on reworking those bad ones. What else? Oh yeah. Even though the game just launched as a battle pass, but because it just launched, everyone got the battle pass for free. So yeah, they're doing battle pass monetization, but it's a free game, right? It's a free game, so it's fair to do battle passes, or at least that's what players seem to agree with nowadays. That free game equals battle pass, and then that's okay. So it's like Fortnite, where each match you earn the special type of credits called visual tokens. They're basically just EXP exchanged into credits. So if I want a skin, I'd have to earn those credits by winning matches. That's about it. These silver ones, there's a store in the game, separate from the actual store, trading post, that has cosmetics. Yeah, you can buy green. You can buy green, and you can buy teal with a bit of bone, and you can buy green with a bit of horse. So, or you could just buy a horse. So, they're trying to base things off of what Apex did, but they're trying to also not make it controversial. But I feel like they're not having much of a backbone or having very interesting things to really express in the game. There's challenges. You can earn free cosmetics without having to do battle pass stuff. So you can earn a banner, which is this up here. It's your player icon. You can earn weapon charms, because every game nowadays has to have a weapon charm. Thanks, COD. You can buy skins for your tools. You can buy skins for your weapons. You can buy skins for your melee weapon, which you rarely ever see because you're mainly just using that on crystals. You're never actually meleeing someone. I don't know why you would want skins in this game when they're very bland, very basic, very boring. But you've got your options. All characters have skins as well. So you've got these. I'm not even bother showing them because who cares, right? I don't think people care about these characters enough to spend money on skins. And rightfully so, you should not be spending money on these skins. You could kind of turn this guy into like a discount Solid Snake. That's about it. That's the only interesting one. Oh, and this is a girl. This is a girl. That's pretty awesome. It confused one of my friends. It definitely did. But that was funny though. Um, yeah, that was a weird ramble. These are the weapons that are in the game at the moment. Uh, this one's good. This one's inconsistent. This one's overpowered. This one's good. This one's pretty good. But you have to like be super aggressive, otherwise it's unusable. This one I've not seen anyone use just yet. And the rest are just not enough damage dealing, and these ones are just for raiding. Um, yeah, and here's more cosmetics. Wow, look at that cosmetics. Wow. Um, so again, my initial thoughts are I've had fun with this game, but it's not a good game. I do not think it's a good game, and it's not got anything to do with EA, Titanfall, the Game Awards at all, right? Because I'm not an EA fan, I'm not a Titanfall fan. I didn't watch the Game Awards. I didn't even know what was going on with the Game Awards. I just saw people complaining about this game and I wanted to try it out. I watched the devlog, the 25-minute one, um, and then I just played it because it's a free game, and I'm very unimpressed with the gameplay mechanics, the gameplay design, and the gameplay, uh, the intention behind the gameplay, what you're meant to do whilst playing. It 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 doesn't mesh well at all. It really felt like these developers played a bit of Rust, played a bit of Siege, and was like, "Oh, why don't we just do that?" And then they were like, "Yeah, but how are we gonna do that? It's like Siege and Rust, they required so much funding, and we don't have that." And then they were like, "Yeah, but Apex, we've already got Apex. Why don't we just take the engine from that, take a lot of the code? All we need to do is get a few artists to make some models, get some sound design in this, get some mappers, because Apex, we make like one map every 2 years, so these mappers need something to do, and we got a game." And then they were like, and then here we are. Um, I don't know where to go from here, so I think I'll just stop. Bye.